Aye.
Mr. Lewis, Mr. Ziegler, absent, Mr. Nagel,
Aye.
and Mr. Fisher.
Here, would you please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, item 2, could I have a motion to accept the minutes of May 8th and May 22nd, 2024 meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ripko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis,
Aye.
Mr. Nagel,
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye. Item 3 is a resolution authorizing the payment of claims.
Donnie, I know you said something about it, but would there be a problem if I research metropolitan compounds until 2 weeks, Bill?
Oh, no.
To
Pay all the bills except that one.
yeah, to remove that from consideration of the bills. So you've got a motion, we need a
Gary, just
second.
second.
Okay.
Mr. Ripko.
Wait,
Mr. Lewis.
discussion.
Wait, yeah, discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, Tom, now.
Now,
My only question is, as well as, I know we're talking about the soap, but is there anything else that you might come across that would need consideration?
I did not when I looked at them.
Well-
Gary and Carl. looked at 'em.
Well, yeah, I guess.
the discussion is not on a motion, so.
The motion's to pay the bills except that one.
Yeah, the motion is to remove that from the bills. If you have others, then you're gonna have to make another motion after this motion's considered. So this is on to remove whatever it is. the
Metropolitan
The-
compounds.
Metropolitan compound from consideration.
No, call the roll, Kat.
Mr. Ripko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Nagel,
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye.
Now, if you have another motion on something else,
Or if
Now
you
you
want
can
to just research it and bring it back, that's fine too.
Well, if. There's only one other one. But I think that. It's for Tifco Industry with 3 pair of Pro Grip Turbo gloves for like almost $100 a piece. I'm not saying that has to be removed, but I think that, I think that should be another discussion, and like I said to Donnie and Marty, I really want to get involved in the highway department and just help out, and I'm not sitting here criticizing anybody, but Pro Grip Turbo driver gloves. We had 3 pairs of them, and they're 96, 99, and 84. And then we bought 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 LED dual strobe lights.
They were on the new trucks,
Oh, the new truck, perfect.
the 3 pickup trucks we got.
That we recently got that?
Yeah, not too long ago.
Okay. So I think I can have a discussion with Marty about it. I just, I went out there and I just wanted to see some stuff and I'll just, so, no, I'm good with that.
Okay. Item 4 is a report.
no, resolution authorizing payment of claims.
Yeah, that's right. We gotta go back to authorizing the payment of claims except that
With
one.
that removal. Yeah.
Okay, call the roll, Kathy.
We got a
Yes.
motion?
Yeah, motion and a second.
Second.
All right, who's my motion? Who did
Who's
the,
gonna authorize paying the claims? I thought that was done and then removed.
Who's gonna make the
Oh.
motion?
I make a motion to pay the claims.
And Gary second. Yeah. All the.
all right,
yeah.
Mr. Ripko,
Hey.
Mr. Lewis,
Aye.
Mr. Nagel,
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye. Okay, item 4 is reports of town officers.
I move reports be received and put on file.
Second the motion.
Mr. Ripko,
Hey.
Mr. Lewis,
Aye.
Mr. Nagel,
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye. Item 5 is correspondence and item 6 is a motion to receive correspondence.
I move these correspondence be received and put on file.
Second.
Mr. Ripko,
Aye.
Mr. Lewis,
Aye.
Mr. Nagel,
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye. Item 7 is audience participation. Anyone that would like to address the board on any items that are not on the agenda, please step forward, state your name and address, and we'll listen. Anyone? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 8, which is a public hearing adopted local law of the town of Horses 2024, authorizing the town board to set administrative and enforcement of the New York State Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code. John?
Town of Horseheads notice of public hearing. Please take notice of the public hearing will be held by the town board of the town of Horseheads on June 12, 2024 at 7 P.M. at the town hall regarding adoption of local law number 1 of 2024, a local law providing for the administration and enforcement of New York State Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code, amending local law number 1 of 2006. Any resident of town of Horseheads shall be entitled to be heard upon any proposed action at such public hearing. Any person requiring special assistance should contact the town clerk prior to the meeting. By order of the town board of the town of Horseheads, New York, Kathy R. Wood, town clerk, dated May 10th, 2024. Published one time in the Elmira Star Gazette on Friday, is it still the Elmira Star Gazette?
It's the start is that. I don't know if Elmira's involved in
On
it.
Friday, May 31st, 2024. I'll open the public hearing with anybody who wishes to comment. If you wish to comment, please stand, approach the board, state your name and address. Upon being recognized, you can make your statement. Anyone wish to speak with regard to the local law, proposed local law? Anyone at all? Motions in order to close the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Ripko,
Aye.
Mr. Lewis,
Aye.
Mr. Nagel,
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye.
Way back when, 2006, we had to adopt the local law that allowed us to administer and enforce New York State Building Fire Prevention and New York State Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code, which we did. Last year, or maybe the year before, the state put out a further model of that law, and we're required before the end of this year to update our local law. So this is Craig and I reviewed. There's some stuff that had to be added to it, but essentially it's not too much different than the prior local law. So we just need to adopt that before the end of the year.
Any discussion, action? If not, I'd like a motion.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Ripko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis,
Aye.
Mr. Nagel,
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye. Item 10 is a resolution authorizing the standard workday and reporting. And this has to be done every year, right, Kathy?
Yes.
And it's this time of year when we have to do it. Nothing's changed in
Do it in June.
what we've done in the past. So it's just every June we do this. So I need a motion.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Ripko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis,
Aye.
Mr. Nagel,
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye. Item 11 is discussion and possible action regarding the Chemung County Section 239 referral agreement. John?
The certain actions under the general municipal law, section 239M, are required to be referred to the county planning board. The county has developed an agreement, which they are allowed to do, and send it to the municipalities, and making a list of items that they would agree are local determination and therefore do not need to be referred at this point in time. It will make things smoother and easier, and items that don't have to be referred can be handled a lot sooner by the zoning board of appeals, the planning board, and the town board when it comes to them. So this would just be authorization. We've reviewed it and it's okay. And it should be used and be quite effective for us. This would just authorize Danny to execute that agreement with the county.
You all had copies, I don't know if you had a chance to look at it. Or I would need a motion to allow me to actually sign this agreement.
Non-referral agreement.
Yeah. Which we don't have to refer to that.
Right.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Repko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis,
Aye.
Mr. Nagel,
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye. Item 12 is a resolution referring the amendment of chapter 161 solar energy systems and equipment to the town of Horseheads Planning Board, Chemung County Planning Board, and all other neighboring municipalities. This is just a resolution to refer it to the. planning
This is the
board.
this is the referral. It will be an amendment to that ordinance. So it will come back here for final approval. What they are asking is two things. One is we have a limitation in height on the panels of 15 feet, which is a static height at this point in time. The newer panels, since we've adapted, now move and follow the sun. So they will, instead of just laying down like you're used to seeing them, if you drive by on Hickory Grove Road especially, they would move. So during the early morning and evening hours, they would be at a almost perpendicular to the earth to catch the morning sun and the evening sun. Then they would return as life goes on. So they've asked for it to be the maximum to be 20 feet. Not 20 feet static height, but 20 feet basically on the rotational height. So this will be referred to the planning board. They'll take a look at it. The other portion of it is that they have a current request for a project that will straddle a property line. And our requirement is for setbacks to be 75 feet from each property line. Well, this would be one project straddling a property line. So what we've sort of suggested and said we'd take a look at is that where the project across the property lines is contiguous, we would look at reducing that from 75 to 20. So it'd be 20 on each side. That would allow vehicles and stuff to get around the project at that point in time. This would compact the project by the difference between 20 feet and 75, so 55 feet. So then it wouldn't extend farther out into the property at that point in time. So we can take a look at it, make referral, and it'll come back obviously to you guys to determine. But since we allow solar projects in all zones in the town of Horseheads, the referral is to the county, to the town planning board, and to all. It says neighboring municipalities plus the villages also. So
John, so the Radford Solar Project is where? Or-
Yeah, there's two of them.
Up at Breezeport.
There's two of them, Radford, and I forget the other name.
Global,
Yeah,
and they're both them are in.
it's one project.
Okay.
Straddles the boundary line,
Gotcha,
okay? Yeah,
okay.
so it'll be. I tried to work on the language today, because I want to make sure that they don't later split the projects. So that one becomes one project, one becomes another, and now they've impeded on the setback. And, well, basically, what I don't want them to gain a friggin' advantage, so we'll figure out how to do it.
But are we looking at this as the exception
Yes,
to our standard solar? So essentially, right now, it's gonna be a one-time,
well, it won't be a one-time, but we'd amend it so that if this comes up again, we don't have to do it. I mean, they could.
so it can be used more than just for the project that we're looking at.
Exactly. But we have to set the standards that it's contiguous property, right? Kathy, we decided
Yes.
contiguous, that that the project is on a contiguous boundary line. So it wouldn't extend outside of that or that, plus that it's a single permit for the solar project, a single, you know, the agreements that we get for host benefit and decommissioning are single agreements for those also.
So we're looking for a motion then,
Just to
To
refer,
refer it to the planning.
just to
to
refer,
refer it,
yeah,
To do
we're not,
it's a referral then,
yeah, you're not making any decisions yet, no.
okay. I suggest that we make the referral to the Chemung County Planning Board.
And ours.
And
Ours and the local.
as set forth here, town, Chemung County, and the neighboring municipalities, we have to go to all of them.
Do I have a second?
Second,
Mr. Ripko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis.
aye.
Mr. Nagel.
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye. Item 13, discussion of possible action regarding OSHA regulatory language emergency response rule 1910.156. For requesting for an extension for a comment period. Gentlemen, I don't know if you are aware of it, but OSHA has come out with some updates for the fire service, the fire brigades. And after reviewing it and reading it in numerous discussions, it's probably gonna put volunteer fire services out of business if it stands the way it is. Okay, they're asking for a lot of things. Let me just read you what FASNY wrote here. It says earlier this year, the Federal Occupation Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, initiated a rulemaking process to replace the existing fire brigade standards. For the newly written emergency response standards, the new standards would apply to both career and volunteer departments and would significantly impact both administrative and operation requirements. For most departments, these new requirements will require additional resources and personnel to comply with. They could also have detrimental effect on recruitment, retention, and overall public safety. FASNY continues to be the forefront in an effort to slow the process down and rework some of these elements and proposed rules. Last month, FASNY led a delegation to Washington and met with more than 24 representatives to enlist their support, and we continue to work on them. We also are working with New York State representatives to get them to reach out to OSHA. We will continue to develop resources and educate the fire service and public involved. Okay, and basically what it is you have to basically be a career firefighter. You have to pass the physical, you have to pass the tests, you have to pass the breathing, you have to be monitored, you have to have a training program, everything has to be an administrative program written. So if you think you're only spending so much on the volunteer fire service today, probably triple it, if not more. It's pushing for a career fire service, basically. John and I sat down, and you have copies in your packet of wrote a resolution to send to OSHA and Kathy Hochul, Nick Langworthy, Chuck Schumer, Kristen Gildebrand, O'Meara, Friend, Palmisano, the OSHA, Chris Moss, Mark Margison, Matt Stevens, the new EMO director, Kristen Card, the public safety director, with our concerns. John will explain more.
I just wanted to, one correction before you consider it is that in the number one at the bottom, it talks about June 21st to
Mm.
2024.
July.
They now have moved that to July 22nd, 2024, which in the light of what they're really talking about is still not enough time, I would imagine, for these things to be considered. So we would change that proposed resolution, that date to July 22nd, 2024. What they're just looking for is more time to make comment and show, I mean, having listened to one guy talk about this, it really literally will put volunteer fire departments out of business completely. So we can go back to contract fire departments or homeowners can contract with one. Yeah.
As
They'll
most of
probably
you,
put those out of business too.
as most of you know, I always like to consider the source when something happens. What initiated this type of resolution?
The OSHA, the new OSHA standards is initiated. After we reading them, it's gonna put the fire services out of business. So we came up with this resolution to offer our objection and to extend the response to more people. Because basically, none of the volunteer fire services in New York State or in New York State's and OSHA state are gonna meet these requirements. You have to have policies written and enforced on everything from physicals, and after a major incident, you have to send them back for another physical. They have to take, they have to pay, I can't remember what they call it, but it's a, the professional firefighters do it, it's a thing with the breathing apparatus, have to lift a 60-pound dummy and do this all in a time period and all that, and you have to have documentation on a physical fitness program, to name a few, you have documentation on a medical program, you have documentation on, and policies on, mental health and various other things. And you'd have to hire every volunteer fire department, and some of them have small contracts, some of them would have to hire some type of an administrator or something to meet these requirements. And it's just not gonna happen in New York State's an OSHA state.
So
I've been in the volunteer fire service for 52 years, and after reading this, I just shook my head. It's ridiculous.
what Tom was asking though, who's initiating? Does it sound like the firefighters union, the paid?
We don't,
firefighters?
OSHA came through, OSHA, Occupational Health and Safety initiated. They looked at time for updates, okay? And they went above and beyond, and I'm sure they got input from the professional firefighters unions. I'm sure FASNY, which is the Fire Services State of New York, had nothing, is totally against it. The fire districts in the state of New York have written a opposition to it. I don't know if the fire chiefs have. I really don't. I haven't gotten that far yet. But I know it's been brought up around the county. I know the Village of Horseheads Fire Department has gone to the village board meeting and asked them to do the same thing. Because,
up next week.
yeah, and Southport's already written a resolution. Owego and Binghamton has, I know, Tompkins Corners Fire Department went to Catlin to ask them to do it.
The county did theirs.
Did the county do
The
theirs?
county did theirs.
I know Mike Smith was on the news with Sean McNerney on a thing about what it's gonna do basically is you can't afford a volunteer fire department. If it passes. So we want the resolution, which you got copies of, you can read to same thing, to the town of Horseheads opposition with the two fire districts and one fire district and two fire protection districts we have contracts with in town of Horseheads. And they're in full agreement. I know the chief of Town and Country's writing his opposition, and I know the chief of the Heights is also doing one.
I have no problem with it. I think it's a good idea that everybody's get on the same
And we're sending it to all the people you see in there, which I just mentioned, because not just OSHA. We want the governor and the congressman and all these people to realize what they could be doing to local municipalities.
Yeah, and what this does is just ask for them to
Push it
push it
back
out,
and read.
let's give
No,
more comment.
let's get more comments, get more time, because some of the stuff they put in there. It's not bad, and it needs update. We all realize it needs updating, but the extent they went to is way too far. So can I have a motion to adopt this resolution?
So moved. Second.
Mr. Repko,
Aye.
Mr. Lewis,
Aye.
Mr. Nagel,
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye. Item 14 is a resolution referring the PUD amendment request of Southern Tier Crossings to the Town of Horses Planning Board, the Smoke County Planning Board, and Town of Big Flats Planning Board. Again, John, I'm going to refer to you.
Southern Tier Crossings, you know, all that Walmart Plaza and everything like that. What's been happening over there is that they've been parceling out and selling to, it's not owned all by one group. Walmart has always owned its own parcel. Kohl's has always owned its own parcel. Recently, Dick's parcel has been sold. The Men's Warehouse Plaza has been sold to another group. The Starbucks, that has been sold. What remains is the Joanne Fabrics building, the whole building.
The whole
We're
strip.
talking about, not just Joanne Fabrics, but the whole building. And that parking area, plus the roads and the flood management area, this is all left. And the vacant land that's at the end of where Dick's and Kohl's, that's at the end of that parcel. What they want to do at this point in time is they want to amend the PUD to show the Joanne Fabrics parcel, which is their parcel 4, will now include all the roadways that go through the thing, plus the flood management area as part of that parcel. So whoever owns that parcel will manage all that according to whatever requirements they've had going along. And they want to separate out that parcel, which is approximately, I believe, 8 acres. Now, it's on the map, I think that we gave you. They want to separate that parcel out of there at this point in time and dispose of that parcel as a separate parcel. The reasoning is obviously so that the roads and stuff, the Joanne Fabrics parcel and that parcel are not considered one chunk. And there's no big issue, it's just a subdivision is what it is. So, but we have to refer it out. It'll go to the county planning board, town planning board, our town, and Big Flats, because it's right next to that.
So I need a motion to refer to the 3 planning boards.
So move.
Second,
Second.
Mr. Repko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Nagel,
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
We'll have to read the non-referral.
Yeah, maybe we don't have
to send it to the-
Not with the non-referral.
Since we adopted that before this, so we'll see.
Okay, there is no conference attendance, so that concludes our meeting, so I'll ask if, Carl, you got anything else?
Yeah, I got a couple of things. I went out and met with Marty last week. And had a very good conversation with him and Tyler. And they, which, you know, I told you I wanted to get involved with that and try to do my job, but we went through the truck wash bay. He brought up about the salt barn, about the dirt floors. And I'm going to still work with him on that stuff to try to see where we can end up with you know the 3 items that they brought to my attention. And then You know, I suggested, we talked about the new truck he's got coming and stuff like that to see if, he had any suggestions there where we could, if money was in the budget to pour the concrete out there, which they showed me the dirt floors out there and how one of the wings that they pull up and hook up to, they gotta have a cart and I guess they said it's been an ongoing situation, but it is what it is, but I really think that I will be back out there visiting with them on those 3 items and the new 10-wheeler. And, I did, we had a couple big things, the $3,200 for the jumping jack, which I didn't know. The Rhino post hole driver, I wanted to see that. He showed me one that we had there, it's a used one. But then when I asked him about that, which you told me a minute or before the meeting, Donnie, about it's in the Heights.
No, it's in Horseheads. I believe he told me that you had to they had to drill some signs.
Oh, we have it in our possession?
No, it's at the village right now.
The village of,
I thought he said,
Village of Horse.
I gotta double check. I thought he said the village of Horseheads. I don't know if you got it or the Heights has it. They have to drive some signs and then this post hole driver goes through concrete. So it could be at the village of Heights. He said the village, and we were talking about something with you guys, and I just made that bad assumption.
Well, my question is if we just, I'll ask Marty again, is like, we have a used one sitting out there, which I assume it's working perfectly. Why would we loan our other one out? And I asked, when the equipment, if it is in the Heights or if it is in Horseheads, why don't they buy their own? I'm sorry. I mean, especially if we loan out a new one, we got a used one sitting here. It just,
Well, you check with Marty also, but it could be 2 different sizes too. One might not drive through the pavement. I don't know. But we'll check with him. Anything else?
for you, Donnie, you talked about the fire district and you thought you might have an update for us on that. Is that going?
It's gonna start after I gotta meet with Nate's father-in-law passed away. And that's not an excuse, but once we got this, I worked on this first. So we're going back, we're going back to the fire district discussions probably next week.
Is the Village of Horsehead still in?
As far as I know, they're still interested.
And
Yes.
then what about the Village of Marquette?
That's the one we gotta get to and find out if they're in or out.
Oh, they haven't,
They've made a decision.
no, I'm good. I appreciate the time. I'm good.
Gary? Yes. Don?
Could I make a comment on a couple of things that Carl has asked about, so
Which we talked about. Go ahead, because I was gonna too, because we've talked about
that we
it.
all know about? But I'm gonna start with what I refer to as the west wing in the highway department. And that's got 4 bays that have got dirt floors. That's been referred to here. Now, you gotta forgive me here for a minute, you're sort of getting information from a demented mind. Those dirt floors and that whole situation with the west wing started in 2006 BMT, before my time. So in 2011 or so, we had taken a look, 2012, 2013, nothing happened. In February of 2022, it came up for discussion again. And we have never had it on the table. We have never approached putting floors in that west wing. I just want you to be aware, this is not the first go round on that particular situation. Now, the first step that goes along with that is that when let's say we go 1 bay a year for the next 4 years, or let's say we go 2 bays and 2 bays. But as the first one goes in, we have to connect it to the oil separating tanks that we have already in existence. But that, I'm letting you know the expense to begin this, and then what it will take to have concrete in each of those 4 bays. The second thing, and it's reared its ugly head again, was 6 months ago, I had Almar Structures come in. And they are the ones that initially, and I smile at this now because it's one of my babies here. And the truck wash, that's been in existence for 12 years now. Seems like yesterday in some cases. But we have girts on both sides that have now deteriorated even more in the last 4 months that have got to be replaced. I was in there Saturday. And I was in there Sunday again, but I had, it's not Jared. Trying to think of the Vesselmeyer, it's a professional engineer with Almar Structures that put up the building. But we stood out there Monday for an hour. He took pictures and it's trying to be addressed to remove the girts that are in there. And we're looking at changing materials or covers for the girts themselves, because these have lasted the 12 years. There's nothing structurally wrong with the building, but it would make it a lot more efficient if the girts on both sides were replaced. The salt barn, while I had the professional engineer here and wondered what they were talking about with the salt barn, there's nothing wrong with our salt barn per se. But what we will eventually be mandated to do is to put in what I'll refer to as an apron, which is the entranceway with a wall or a retaining wall that when the salt comes out of the trucks, as they're overfilled or whatever the situation might be, that the salt itself, the excess salt can be, with a front loader, be pushed up against this wall, filled in to the left, and either put back in the truck or put back in the barn. But it is an apron or an entranceway, probably 4 to 6 feet, much like is it all the way around the highway department building. Not something where the salt has to be removed from the barn and then the barn itself has to be addressed. But these will be things, we talk about the highway department, but that is the face of the town and what's going on. All of our trucks, all of our equipment, all of our people that are working for it really are what are more seen than anything else within the town. But these are 4 items that we, at some point, are gonna have to address. I prefer to do it before they're mandated, because I find the expenses, once they are mandated, I shouldn't say our prices are double, but they certainly will increase when we're told they have to be done before choosing to do it all. And boy, that was just a little bit.
Anything else, sir?
No, my soapbox is,
To go along with that, Carl and Gary, just Tom, before he came in to fill this vacant chair until the new person's here, was quote, our clerk of the works, who has been working on a lot of that stuff in the background. I've also talked to Marty to get me and Tom to get prices of what it would cost to put the concrete in those bays, 1 bay at a time, 2 at a time. And that's when he brought the situation up with the bay wash and the barn. So we're working on getting pricing for that for the budget. And so first see what they are and then plan on putting it in our budget for next year.
Well, when I talked to Marty about that, and then he had he says he's got a 10-wheeler in the works. He was even in agreement instead of spending example 400K on a 10-wheeler. It doesn't sound like he needs it this year. That he would be willing to do something with that money to help out.
Right, he told me about that, but he was also gonna check in. I have not talked to Marty because, other issues he had, to know if we had to pay a late fee or something, because the truck is done.
But Marty told me that, just what he said, there's people in line waiting for truck.
Yeah,
like
he was
that.
gonna,
So,
he told me he talked to you about that. He was gonna check on it and see what was going on. And that was what, 2 days ago when I talked to him. And I wasn't until late today because I had to work. And that, so we'll follow up on
so
that.
that would be. you
Yeah,
know,
we'll follow up on that.
It'd
He's,
be a good idea.
I'll remind him to follow up on that too, because I know he's been busy and. He was
Yeah,
gonna,
no,
because he told me exactly what you said and he was gonna check into it.
Yeah, and then I said, well, geez, if that could be the case, that would be great, and then maybe we could. Try to stay local with the Mack truck too, and he said.
Well, yeah, we
He
had,
was all in agreement, he said, I
Oh, yeah.
agree, I'd like to do that, he said, people want this truck that we got on order, and I'm sure that, they wouldn't have no problem.
yeah, well, we'll follow it up because we did meet with Mac quite a while ago with the new reps. And they've changed a lot because they weren't following up on, the
Yeah.
old people weren't following.
And then he said something about, like, example, this 400,000 truck is like an example, series 5. And the max example is now a series 7.
Yeah.
And Marty said, geez, I'd love to have a series 7, whatever that means, I don't know.
Newer, and a little more gadgets, I guess, or something. But, well, no, we'll follow up on it. And that, because he said the same thing to me. I have nothing else, so at this point, I'd like a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Sorry.
Mr. Ripco. Mr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Nagel,
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
These have that.
That's what you said.
Oh, is it? I haven't read it.
That's